People before profit wants Galway to be held responsible for the slave trade centuries ago. This is Ben Scallan and you're watching Gript Media. People Before Profit is calling for a Galway monument near the Spanish Arch to be taken down because they say that it glorifies slavery and racism. The monument was raised in 1992 and marks the 500-year anniversary of Christopher Columbus's voyage to the New World. Stories have it that Columbus made port in Galway before setting sail across the Atlantic to discover America, and so there was a monument given to the people of Galway by the people of Genoa, Italy, to acknowledge that particular part of history. So why would People Before Profit want to remove this monument? Well, according to them, the monument is disrespectful as it doesn't mention anything about Columbus's quote-unquote genocidal brutality. Therefore, it has to be removed. They've attempted to whip the entire country into a frenzy over the issue. Now, it doesn't seem to be working since in a journal.ie poll on the subject, an overwhelming majority of people said that the statue should not be removed. It seems like the Irish people do not agree with PBP's assessment, and yet the monument has since been vandalised and Gardaí are currently investigating into who could be responsible. But isn't that always the way with extreme left causes? When the left propose something and the people say no, they resort to violence, vandalism and destruction to get what they want. Also, is there not something highly ironic about a socialist political party complaining about genocidal brutality in history? PBP is the same party that attends an annual Marxism conference. Christopher Columbus did plenty of evil things, I'm no fan of his, but his body count still doesn't come anywhere near the communists with their tens of millions brutally slaughtered and imprisoned around the world. In the genocidal brutality Olympics, our left-wing friends take the victory hands down. But putting that aside, by PBP's logic, we may as well go a step further. While we're destroying this monument to Columbus, we should also ban the Viking splash tour in Dublin. After all, the Vikings were some of the biggest slavers and murderers in history. Even that pub in town, the Turk's Head, should be forced to close down surely. The Ottoman Turks had a huge slave trade. We have statues to people like Barack Obama in Offaly, who was the only Nobel Peace Prize winner in history to bomb another Nobel Peace Prize winner when he carpet bombed a civilian hospital in Afghanistan. In the last year of Obama's presidency, he dropped 26,000 bombs on the Middle East. So are we going to take Obama's statue down for all the US drone strikes under his watch? In fact, many old buildings in Ireland were built under the British Empire, a colonial power. So we may as well cut to the chase and just level the entire country altogether. Let's just wipe it all clean and start again, but this time with no bigotry. Now, before the Greens get too excited by that idea, I'm obviously joking. But this entire proposal to try and erase world history is laughable on its face. Did Christopher Columbus do evil things? Yes, absolutely. But that's not why they want the monument removed. They've not complained about any of the other things mentioned in that list. In fact, that monument is 6 years older than I am. It stood there for 28 years in Galway City and nobody had anything to say about it until right now. Now, all of a sudden, it's urgent that we destroy it as soon as possible. Why is it only unacceptable now, but not last year or the year before? I'll tell you why. Because right now, Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioters are tearing down various statues in America and Britain, and so PBP, like the trendy little socialists they are, were experiencing a severe case of FOMO, fear of missing out. After all, if they're the only communists not tearing down statues, that's just gonna look lame. They'll be picked on by all their peers. All the cool kids are doing it, Mom. But it gets funnier. On top of removing the monument, PBP said that they want it replaced with a new memorial that holds the people of Galway responsible for the slave trade. How is Galway responsible for the slave trade, you might ask? Well, apparently centuries ago, foreign slavers used to enter Galway port to trade provisions with the local merchants. So therefore, according to PBP, Galway and its people are responsible for slavery and need to feel a great sense of shame and guilt over it today. But funnily enough, PBP have never asked for an apology from Africans for the sack of Baltimore in 1631, where an entire Irish village in Cork was kidnapped and enslaved by Algerian pirates. In fact, 1.2 million other Europeans were taken as slaves in the North African Barbary slave trade. People from those regions don't have to apologise or feel any historical guilt, but the people of Galway do apparently. Why is that? After all, we know that every civilization in the history of the world owned slaves. The ancient Chinese had slaves. The Japanese had slaves. India owned slaves. South America had slaves. The Middle East and even Africa had slaves. And yet for some reason, Europeans are the only people on earth who have to apologise. Why is that? In fact, there are parts of the world like Libya where there are still slave markets to this day. Do PBP think Libyan people have to apologise for that? Or is their attempt to instill cultural shame only targeted at Irish people? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. This is the same party whose elected councillor, Matthew Wayne, proposed that Ireland's national flag be removed from government buildings so as not to offend non-nationals.
We have one of the most multicultural populations of the whole country living in Fingal, and I think we need to consider the sensitivity of this. And I would prefer to see the flagpoles outside this building being used to express what Councillor O'Leary has said, to express solidarity with people. So, for example, on the week of Pride, I think we should show the rainbow flag. I think we should be flow the flags of minority groups, Pavey Point and so on. All of those many different cultural and religious and ethnic organisations could be facilitated within that. I come from a different tradition. The tradition of the workers' movement, the labour movement, which doesn't see the country of your birth as being anything really significant.
Straight from the horse's mouth, the country of your birth isn't anything really significant to PBP. Granted, he said this right before being shown the door by his constituents at the very next election. But still, a statement like that says a lot about a group's priorities, does it not? Now look, I don't want to tell the people of Galway how they should feel about all this. That's up to them. But if it was me, I think I'd take exception to being lectured about slavery by people who believe in a totalitarian ideology which still enslaves millions of its own people around the globe to this day. Maybe PBP should start by criticising their comrades in the Chinese Communist Party for their slave labour camps today before they get on Galway's case about something that happened centuries ago. If you ask me, Ireland doesn't have enough statues or monuments to acknowledge its history. Think of all the great people who have no official monument. We have no national statue to Padraig Pearse in the capital. We have no statue to Eamon Cant. There's no statue in Clontarf for High King Brian Boru, or 1,000 other great Irish heroes, male and female alike. The National Graves Association are the only organisation in the country who maintain the graves and memorials of our patriot dead and commemorate those who died in the cause of Irish freedom. They receive no state funding of any kind, they're 100% donations based. Why are they not better funded and supported? Why are we destroying culture and history of our island when we should be building upon it? If you like this commentary and you want to see more like it, please be sure to share this video and let us know how you feel in the comments below. Thanks for watching.